Good morning. You know how the earth was formed, right? It was when swirling gas and dust came together with the force of gravity to create this massive earth, which we now call home. I cannot give you a better example of how such a small particle of gas, which you cannot even see with the naked eye, or a particle of dust that you cannot hardly see, came together to create a big impact, an impact as big as the earth. That, my friends, is the butterfly effect. But that isn't good to know. It's a fact, it's general knowledge. But life cannot be lived by general knowledge alone. Life, unfortunately, does not come with a guidebook or a manual. I read somewhere that the best thing a human can do is probably to live good, to live nobly, to live honestly, in the hope that your life becomes a blueprint for another, some kind of a guidebook for a good life to be led. And so, today, I thought I'll give you a glimpse into my life, a few places, a few episodes where small changes created the big impact, which brought me here on the stage to share the same with you. I'll go back to my childhood when I was a 10-year-old and I had contracted chickenpox, a contagious disease, which means that you have to quarantine in a room for a long period of time. I asked my parents to hand me a drawing book, a comic book, a pencil, and an eraser. Every single day of those 30 days, I sketched a comic character. At the end of it, I had a body of work that I was pretty proud of. Now, while my art skills today continue to be questionable, the one thing that I learned for sure is that small changes can absolutely create a piece of work that you can inspire yourself with. It absolutely goes a long way in making you feel fabulous about yourself. That learning came in handy as I continued to grow bigger. As I moved on, I continued to be a backstage kind of person. But as destiny would have it, my passion for writing brought me into the field of advertising, perhaps one of the fields that is pretty glamorous. However, I started with the more non-glamorous side of it, writing perhaps a poster on the side, a leaflet on the side, a digital banner which half the world would not even ever see. But slowly those pieces added up. And I, within a few years, had my first television commercial release, a glorious moment for a copywriter. Soon, I had a nationwide press release as well, my first print ad, which was translated in different languages across the country. Another glorious moment. A great example for me of how series of small wins add up to a big victory. It did wonders for my confidence, enough for me to start my own copywriting and strategic content solutions company. Now, within the company, I never said no to a single job. I never judged it for its size and for its scope of work. It could be a single line. They were small ticket jobs. But all of those small ticket jobs led to a big ticket job, led more importantly to big ticket relationships. So what I saw as a small assignment grew over time into long-standing relationships, so much that today I'm very confident and proud to say that none of who I have on my checklist are clients. All of them are relationships that we've nurtured over time. Now, just as I look after the health and fitness of my company, taking care of my own wellness is my responsibility too. After all, health is the greatest wealth of all. Unfortunately for me though, I'm not a very athletic person. You won't see me wearing shoes very easily and jogging down the road. Bringing myself to the mat every day is a challenge. But here's what I keep in mind. Just like the moon, it waxes and wanes every day, a little more certain days, a little less on certain days, half the capacity on certain days just a thin line. That's the formula I keep in mind when I have to bring myself to the mat on a daily basis. And trust me, pushing myself a step at a time has got me to a place where I live a balanced life, eating good food, taking care of my health, and all of it gives me the fuel to take my dreams forward. My good health energizes me and keeps me a step forward. I'm also a poet at heart. I love words, as you can see, my career as a copywriter. I'm also a Hindi and Urdu poet, an amateur one. I've always written big pieces that I've enjoyed reading. But over time, a few friends started nudging me, saying that, hey, the world should be seeing your work as well. But 20 lines, it's a huge responsibility to write. It takes a lot of bandwidth to do the same. So here's what I decided. Why not write couplets? Just 2 lines, packed with a world of meaning, packed with so much to say, packed with so much expression. And I started releasing 2 lines once a week. That's all it took. Somebody just spoke about social media. I just wrote 2 lines a week consistently. And slowly but surely, it started reaching out to people. That was my only intention. I was not running behind anything. Life brought me to a place where I had to deal with a lot had to be expressed. I'll take you back in time a little bit, because many times I have been, I used to live a life where I used to feel that I'm God's chosen child, getting all of the good work, living a beautifully cushioned life. But 4 years ago, I was dealt with a blow. My husband, who was suffering with a long-term illness, we lost him in November 2018. I thought I hit rock bottom. I had my son to look after, I had my business to look after. Both of them were staring me in my face. And just as I was trying to figure my way forward with it, I was dealt with the next blow. My mother-in-law could not take the grief of losing her young son. Within a year, she succumbed to cancer too. I thought I was done with it. The 3rd year, my mother last year was creating on me a step at a time, a win at a time. Magic started happening. And I started cleaning my table surface. My headspace started getting cleared up. As I started planting a tree, as the plant started blooming and it died eventually, the cycle of life and death flashed before my eyes. The whole inevitability of it. I started accepting it. Accepting it enough to come on stage here today and talk about it. To me, a victory cannot be bigger than that. And having learned this life lesson, it is my responsibility to leave it behind as a legacy. And so, today, when my son comes to me to ask how to surmount a challenge, the only thing, and this is the story of my life, but I don't want to leave you with just a story alone. I'll give you 4 cornerstones, 4 ways in which you can live it in your life as well. And if there is anything that you can take back from here, my work will be done. I have crafted an acronym for today, which will help you remember and keep in mind how to live this life. An acronym I'm calling LOUD. Why LOUD? Because when you do something with absolute passion, even the small whisper can come together to create a loud impact and a loud sound. Now, what is this loud all about? L is for my most favorite word in the world, love. It is not romantic love at all. It is love for your passion, love for yourself, love for that big impact that you want to create. A love so intense that once you see that big impact in front of your eyes, you will not judge what it takes to get there. Every small change, you will not judge whether that change is of consequence, whether that change is small, whether the change is big. If the change is needed, you will, in all your honesty, take that step. And step by step, you will never underestimate the power of small wins. Indeed, every person who's ever achieved anything will always tell you that it is the small wins that took them closer to victory. And the last one is for detail. God indeed lies in the detail, every single intricate detail. When you craft any painting with absolute detail, the impact is bound to be phenomenal. As I end my speech, I would like to tell you about this flower in my garden. When I'm not at my best, you remember I was gardening and I have managed to create a small little garden. I go back to this flower, this periwinkle, which is an all-season blooming flower. Small, unnoticed, just doing its job. Pink in color, very mild in fragrance. But it gives me so much peace and so much pleasure to look at that flower. Apparently inconsequential, apparently unnoticed in one corner, but absolutely adding to this big pool called nature. Absolutely making a difference to what the earth is all about. And that, my friends, is my wish for you, that you find that flower in your heart, you bloom it, and you spread your fragrance to the world. If we can do that from here on, my work will be done. Thank you so much.